રામ કબીર મોહન દાદા પ્રાર્થના ચાલુ કરજો.
राम कबीर. ओम श्री सद्गुरु कबीराय नमः. श्री सद्गुरु देव की जय हो. बड़े भाग्य से हम सब ने मानुष तन पावा. अपने मन को वश में करके ही उस परम पिता परमेश्वर में ध्यान लगाना ही ईश्वर भक्ति कहलाती है. इस कबीर भजन में बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से समझाया गया है कि राम नाम का, प्रभु नाम का ही सुमिरन, ध्यान और सत्संग करते रहो. यही नाम सबको भव से पार लगाएगा. तो सब ऐसे चुप ना रहा कीजिए, राम नाम लिया कीजिए, राम नाम लिया कीजिए. गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े, काके लागू पाए. गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े, काके लागू पाए. बलिहारी गुरु आपकी, गोविंद दियो बताए कबीरा, गोविंद दियो बताए. सारी धरती कागज करूं और कलम करूं वनराय. सारी धरती कागज करूं और कलम करूं वनराय. सात समुंदर की मसी करूं, फिर भी गुरु गुण लिखियो न जाए कबीरा, गुरु गुण लिखियो न जाए. बोलिए सद्गुरु देव की जय. कोई बेचत देह तमाशा, कोई बेचे रोटी पानी. बेचत बेचत मिट गए आपे, कबीरा बेचे नाम निशानी. कबीरा बेचे राम निशानी. मेरे माटी के मटके तू राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल. मेरे माटी के मटके तू राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल. कूट पीट कर आया जगत में पिछला हिसाब खोल. झूठी माया झूठी काया, नाम ही सच्चा मोल. कूट पीट कर आया जगत में पिछला हिसाब खोल. झूठी माया झूठी काया, नाम ही सच्चा मोल. राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल. जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी, इसमें दोष प्रभु का क्या, बोया बीज बबूल का साधो आम कहाँ से हो। जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी, इसमें दोष प्रभु का क्या, बोया बीज बबूल का साधो आम कहाँ से हो। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। ऊपर से तू चिकना चुपड़ा, भीतर काली पोल, लोभ मोह की तेरी डोरी, काटे नाम अनमोल। ऊपर से तू चिकना चुपड़ा, भीतर काली पोल, लोभ मोह की तेरी डोरी, काटे नाम अनमोल। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। जब तू जाएगा हरि के द्वारे, वहां खुलेगी पोल। तन दौलत साथ न जाए, नाम रहेगा बोल। जब तू जाएगा हरि के द्वारे, वहां खुलेगी पोल। धन दौलत साथ न जाए, नाम रहेगा बोल। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। भक्ति बिना ये जीवन सूना, तन है बस एक खोल। राम रस पी ले भाई साधो, यही अमृत अनमोल। भक्ति बिना ये जीवन सूना, तन है बस एक खोल। राम रस पी ले भाई साधो, यही अमृत अनमोल। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। ऊंचा ऊंचा सब कोई चाले, नीचा न चाले कोई। नीचा नीचा जो कोई चाले, सबसे ऊंचा होय। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, नाम ही है डोर। राम बिना सब माया झूठी, राम नाम चिरमोल। कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, नाम ही है डोर। राम बिना सब माया झूठी, राम नाम चिरमोल। राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल। मेरे माटी के मटके, तू राम नाम बोल रे, हरि का नाम बोल रे, राम नाम बोल, हरि का नाम बोल, राम नाम बोल, हरि का नाम बोल। सबने राम कबीर बोलिए सदगुरु देव की जय। सदगुरु कबीर साहेब भगवान की जय हो। राम कबीर।
हमने राम कबीर। Om Sri Sadguru Kabiraya Namaha. Ram Kabir Somne, Sri Ram Kabir Bhakta Samaj of USA, the President Mr. Dipen Bhakta, entire board, and all other chapters, 12 chapters, on behalf of them, myself, Rajendra Bhakta, I invite and welcome all of you to this Sunday morning Kabir Wisdom. અને આજની શરૂઆત કબીર વિઝડમ જે મંગલમય ભક્તિમય એક ઓસ્પિશિયસ વાતાવરણ બનાવ્યું તો ભક્ત સમાજ શ્રીમાન મોહનભાઈ ભક્ત મૂળ કપૂરા આપણા બે એરિયામાં કેલિફોર્નિયા તેમનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. તો મોહનજી આવી રીતે આવતા રહેજો અને વાતાવરણને ભક્તિમય મંગલમય બનાવતા રહેજો. સમાજ તમારો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર માને. થેન્ક યુ. Friends, મિત્રો, રવિવારની સવાર, Sunday morning, we all get together and under the umbrella of Sant Shiromani, Sri Sadguru Kabir Sahib, and we explore our journey on planet Earth, who we are and why are we here and what's the meaning behind our existence. અને that's what we are trying to explore. આજે હું થોડું અંગ્રેજીમાં વધારે બોલીશ, ગુજરાતી ઓછું બોલીશ જ્યારે જરૂર પડે ત્યારે જ, કારણ કે આજનો ટોપિક એવો છે. તો ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, what we have if you look at our past, where we came from India, and few hundred years back we started following Sadguru Kabir Sahib. And of course, Kabir Sahib was born around 14th, 15th century, 600 years back. And then we started following his teachings. And our forefathers were mainly farmers. And then we're from farmers, and they worked very hard and sacrificed. And because of their hard work and sacrifices, we migrated to USA, and other countries like Panama, UK, African countries, New Zealand, Trinidad, Tobago, all other different countries we migrated to betterment, for betterment of our lives. તો ફ્રેન્ડ્સ, આપણે જે બધા ઇન્ડિયાથી ભારતથી આવ્યા દેશથી, અમેરિકામાં હવે મેક્સિમમ ભક્ત સમાજ જો કહીએ 80 to 90% percentage-wise, તો I do not know, but majority of us are in USA. And of course, the living in India was slightly different. ભારતમાં નાના નાના ગામોમાં રહેતા આપણે. So that's how the Samaj was, kind of bonded together. But in USA, we are all spread around. We still carry the values from Bharat, the great values which were, followed and taught by our forefathers. And because of that, the first generation, you can see that how the first generation, first of all, we want to thank our forefathers for working hard and sacrifices. And the first generation who landed in USA, they kept those values. And because of that values and support for each other, we all can see and enjoy the comfort and luxury and the education we got. So we want to thank the past. We also want to cherish the present. And definitely today is an opportunity for all of us to now we all enjoy and cherish those values. And we want to see that how we can pass on this value and also pass on the baton to young leaders, who may not have lived as many years in India or Bharat, but they are more in the foreign countries. And how can we, we are so proud of them that some of them have stepped up and say, okay, we will lead the Sri Ram Kabir Bhakta Samaj of USA. which is, we have like 12 chapters. And since we are spread around geographically, but doesn't mean that we cannot meet technologically. We are so much advanced in technology, and also regionally, local, and continue growing together, thriving together, and to me, becoming human 2.0 together, because that is how we all, with support of each other, because that's been proven that whether you were in Panama, whether you were in USA or any other country, support of the community help us at, grow, not only financially but socially, and also kept our values together. So that networking, that support was a key factor why we as a community, even though I just want to remind the young people, they already know, but I would just want to remind even myself that so many of us came with, if we look at the check mark, knowledge of English, not much. Money, not much. Formal education, not much. Cultural knowledge of this country where they are migrating, not much. Business knowledge or business, what you call the, ticks and trade, not much. Geographical knowledge, not much. In spite of all these lack, why we are so, at least thriving, the reason is the community. And because of the community and continuation of the continuity, community support is what we emphasize. And I'm so proud today that the new leadership has, accepted that and role and say, hey, let us evolve. Of course, this will be a hybrid approach. Hybrid approach means the values we carry from Bharat and the values we uh, learn from this country, USA. And we want to combine both values and see how we all, Samaj, can thrive. So, saying that, I will remind Kabir Sahib Doha, and then we will invite our new dynamic, energetic president. But before that, कबीर साहब के कि बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ, जैसे पेड़ खजूर, पंखी पंछी को छाया नहीं, फल लागे अति दूर. And what does that mean? He said the you know palm trees or the date trees are so tall, but and they are huge, but what good it is, because the people don't get the shade, and the fruits are so high, so away from where common people, if they're hungry, can't eat. The same way, in whatever the position we achieve, success we achieve, but we want to be humble and we want to serve. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce um, our president, young and dynamic, and I'll tell you a little bit about him before we, uh, you know, continue. Of course, he is none other than Dipen Harishbhai Bhulabhai Bhakta. Harishbhai, late Harishbhai, he's no longer with us, but he was from Orna, and Amna Matrushri mother is Sakuben Bhagabai, originally from Wow. Dipen is husband of Siddhi Bhakta, daughter of Jayesh Bhai and Ketaben from Minnesota. So Dipen, who is Dipen? Not many people know. I mean, they know he's son of Harish Bhai and Shakuben, but beyond Houston and his close relatives, we may not know. So let's just learn a little bit about him. That Dipen was born in Panama City, Panama, and then he, of course, migrated to USA, and with so many places, you know, let's say San Antonio, Texas, of course, right now in Houston, Salina, Kansas, Shakopee, Minnesota, and probably some other places. But that kind of made him who the pen is, because he lived in so many um, cities, and he learned, he bonded, he learned about how the community is working. And also, professionally, he has spent over 10 plus years working in the space of youth development. Wow, that I didn't know, that, youth development, supporting young people and families in undeserved and underrepresented communities in Houston now and across the nation. His career and his seva are two separate things, and he's clear and humble about that distinction. His role as a board president, like every committee member and volunteer who gives of their time across chapter, is one of the service. He approaches the Kabir way of life as a student as much as a servant, and we are grateful to have him with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly welcome Dipen Parisparit Bhakta. Dipen, Ram Kabir.
Yes, Ram Kabir, and pleasure, and thank you for having me on the call today. Thank you so much, Raj Uncle. I appreciate it. On behalf of the SRBS of USA Board, Ram Kabir to all that are on the call today and also on Facebook as well, or tuning in later on, and you might hear this a few days from now, as this is being recorded. So thank you so much, Raj Uncle, for sharing that. I'm honored to be on the call and also share about what we do and who I am, but also our role as the board in supporting the Samaj nationally. So thank you for being considerate and mindful of the time that you've given us. I would love to introduce our board of directors, our trustees that are on the call today. They'll do a brief introduction of their name, what chapter they represent, and if they're new to the board or if they've had extensive time. After that, for just a short introduction of themselves, I will come back and share a few words lightly, and then I'll allow each of them to come back and share a few words, however they prefer. But if any of I'll start with our secretary, our board secretary, Purvi Ben is on the call. She'll share a little bit about her background, and then also, how long she's been on the board, and then she'll give it off to the next trustee.
All right. Ram Kabir, Jai Shri Krishna, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, thank you, Kabir Wisdom team, to invite our entire SRBS of USA boards members. And it's a very great way to know everyone on this platform. So thank you, whoever started this platform on SRBS of a Facebook page and also via Zoom. Ram Kabir Savne, હું પૂર્વી વિલીસ ભક્તા, currently serving Wichita chapter, Wichita, Kansas chapter. This is 3 years of service, also continue with the 4 years. I was a central representative in a current board of SRBS of USA. And starting this year, my role is a secretary of SRBS of USA. So that's where I am. I'm currently in Hays, Kansas. And Wichita is 3 hours away from me, but I am still connected with my chapters and locals. And also, I had opportunity to run a Salina Sakhi Mandir for last 6 years, and now I hand it over to the wonderful ladies of new generation. Also, they're younger than me as well. So, yep, and currently mother, business owner, also do a lot of side activities, and like Mr. President said, I will share my thoughts about Samaj and everything, and I'll hold on to it. Thank you so much, Ram Kabir.
Thank you so much, Purvi Ben, for that. The next board member and trustee we also have here is Hina Ben, that will share next. You're on mute, Hina Ben.
Sorry about Dipen bhai. So હિનાબેન હિમાંશુ માર્ટી અને ઇન્ડિયામાં મઢીગામ સાસરુધામણ ને હાલ સેન એન્ટોનિયોમાં લાસ્ટ 26 yearsથી આફ્ટર લાઈક લાસ્ટ 8 yearsથી હસબન્ડ પાસ્ટ અવે પછી જે સમાજનો જે મને મોકો મળ્યો તે બદલ લાઈક ગુજરાતી સમાજ ઓફ સેન એન્ટોનિયોમાં હું લાસ્ટ 5 yearsથી હાલ વાઇસ પ્રેસિડેન્ટ તરીકે ને લાસ્ટ 2 વર્ષથી હું સેન એન્ટોનિયો ભક્ત સમાજમાં હું ટ્રસ્ટી તરીકેનો રોલ અને મહિલા મંડળમાં ધીસ ઇઝ માય 3rd યર ફોર પ્રમુખ તરીકે સેવા આપી રહી છું. ને મારું મેઇન વિઝન કે તમામ ઉંમરના સભ્યો દ્વારા જે મને સંદેશા વ્યવહાર અને સક્રિય ભાગીદારીની પ્રોત્સાહન આપીને આપણી સમુદાયમાં બંધનોને મજબૂત બનાવવાનું ચાલુ રાખવા, આધ્યાત્મિક સત્રો દ્વારા હોય કે યુવા જોડાણ દ્વારા આપણે જે મૂલ્ય આપણે દરેકને મૂલ્યવાન અને સામેલ અનુભવ માટે અર્થપૂર્ણ તકો મળી એના બદલ હું ખૂબ આનંદ અનુભવું છું માય ને સ્પેશિયલી મારો મેઇન રોલ કે સમાજ સેવામાં એ કરવા માટે કે મારા 2 કિડ્સ માટે મેં મેઇન પાયો ઉભો કર્યો હતો, જે ગુજરાતી સમાજે મને લાસ્ટ 5 વર્ષથી જે તક આપી ને કિડ્સને આગળ પહેલા તો કિડ્સને ગુજરાતી લખતા કે વાંચતા ના આવડતું, પણ લાસ્ટ 5 વર્ષથી દે આર વિથ મી એન્ડ લાઈક કે ગરબામાં, દિવાળી શું, હોળી શું બધામાં ભાગ ભજવે છે, તે મારો મેઇન સ્તંભ છે. ને આ જ રીતે હું આગળ જોતા મારું ધ્યેય પ્રકરણ વચ્ચે સહયોગને પ્રોત્સાહન આપીને નવા વિચારોને ટેકો આપીને પરંપરાઓ અને મૂલ્ય ભવિષ્યની પેઢીઓને પ્રેરણા આપતી રહું. અને SRBS ઓફ સેન એન્ટોનિયો એટલે SRBS ભક્ત સમાજે જે મને જોઈન્ટ સેક્રેટરી કે જે અત્યારે લાવો આપ્યો છે તે બદલ હું ખૂબ ખૂબ આનંદ અનુભવું છું. ને આ જ યાત્રામાં હું સક્રિય ભૂમિકા ભજવવા માટે તમારા વિચારો, તમારો સમય અને તમારો ટેકો જ આ સમુદાયને ખરેખર સમુદ્ર બનાવે. સાથે મળીને આપણે કંઈક વધુ મજબૂત અને વધુ પ્રભાવશાળી બનાવી શકીએ એ જ હું લાગણી અનુભવું છું. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ દીપેનભાઈ એન્ડ થેન્ક યુ પૂર્વીબેન. થેન્ક યુ એવરીવન.
Thank you, Hinaben, for those words. We'll bring you back a little bit later to share any other things that you would like to share on behalf of the board. We also have Jay Vedambai as well. That's on the call, one of our board trustees.
Oh, Sona Ram Kabir, good morning. Kabir Wisdom ne khub khub abar thoda samay aapyo apne introduction mate. For long term, I've been involved in our community for a lifetime, but excuse me, officially like 9 years in Southern California and like 4 years away on a USA board as a trustee representing Southern California. I'll come back and say a few words later on, but I'm originally from Dungra and living here in Los Angeles off and on for 50 years, but I was in Houston for a couple years and in Arizona for 8 years. But back in LA now since 2011.
Yes.
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay Vedambai. Also, just so y'all are aware, Purviben is our board secretary. Hinaben is our joint secretary. Jay Vedambai, I don't know if you want to share later about your role and previous roles and anywhere that can give insight to the individuals here.
Sure. Currently I'm vice president for SRBS of USA, and previously I was joint secretary and along with Pranav Bai from Dallas. And I've been serving on the USA board for like 4 years, but have had other roles, in Southern California as well, primarily dealing with with promoting a lot of the activities for the youth, as well as one of my main passions is to preserve our Bhakta culture, Bhakta traditions, so that we can pass that along to the next generation. As Rajubai said in his opening remarks, part of our community and our traditions are those that we pass along. So we have to build on the folks that came before us and leave something back to the next generation so that they can take it one step further. But back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Javen. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. We have a few more. I believe I think I saw another board member as well. Is that Roshan Bhai that's on the call as well?
Yes.
Yes, from St. Louis. You're good.
Ram Kabir. My name is Roshan Bikubai Bhakta, Moor Kapura, Lagna Siadla. SRBS USA board as an technical assistant JB Kyotama IT department from 2018. Okay. St. Louis, I have been in as a committee member since 2017, 2018. I was on secretary since 2017 to 2025. This year, I took over as a national secretary. national trustee, representing St. Louis. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and still continuing IT department on SRBS UFSA.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Roshan. And when we bring you back, Roshan, just for a little bit, if you do stay on a little bit later, thank you for your extensive time and support to this space. But I also want to give a shout out as Roshan sits on our national board representing St. Louis chapter and then also board member we have a specific group of two individuals that specifically support our web support, app, and social media support. So I want to give due diligence and respect to also Siddharth from Houston, Texas, that supports alongside with Roshan in ensuring a lot of these spaces regarding web page, application apps, and social media is running smoothly, but also hearing your voice as a community to ensure that we are making strides to make it better. So thank you, Roshan Bhai, and also Siddharth for supporting that space collectively. Thank you. If I miss anybody else, I believe Shailesh Bhai is also on the call as well. So Shailesh Bhai will let you get on now and share a few words. Your background, your name, of course, what chapter you represent, and then we'll bring you back a little bit later to share any things that you would like to share after I speak.
Ram Kabir, everyone. I don't know how to say it, but I don't want to say it's like I've been here for 35 years in the national board. I'm glad this year all the youngsters took over. It's very difficult all these years with people have a different talent basically, but with you guys, I know you guys can move this Samaj forward. I'm glad you guys and you, including Purvi and everyone who are taking this step. It's like every week, I get a text saying, hey, we need to do this. We need to do this. So I hope you can take Samaj forward. And Rajubhai knows me for a long time, and I'm trying to retire myself, but I'm not able to. That's the problem. So I'm from Midwest, Sailesh Bhakta, Orna, married to Hemantika Bhakta, Nawanagar. Naresh Bhai is my mama Hara, and I know everybody knows Naresh Mama. That's my mama Hara. So I just want to give my background.
Yes, thank you so much, Shailesh Bhai. I appreciate your time on the board extensively. Thank you. If I missed anybody else that was also on the call, I do apologize. I have multiple names on my screen. Is there anybody else on the board that I missed that wants to come on?
Or they can raise the hand.
Or you can raise your hand, yes. Yes, I'll give it about 15 seconds and then we'll move into our next part.
We are missing Dallas, we are missing Florida, we're missing Georgia, we're missing Wichita.
Wichita is here.
Sorry. Oh, Purvi. Okay.
Yeah, the few trustees
Southwest.
would not, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, few trustees
yes.
would not make it due to their personal, travel
Yes.
and all plans. So, yes. All right, you can
No
move.
problem. Well, we'll kick it off. I will share a few things and just share a few notes in terms of things that I can share with anybody on the call today. I want to make sure that we place importance on this call, and this call being that happens every week, which is around Kabir Wisdom. So if you're new on the call, I encourage you, if you're a part of someone that I know personally, that's your first time on this call. Yes.
Can I say something about you?
Sure. Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So Rajuba and all the trustees out there, when we had the youth convention, Deepan was a key person for that convention. I just want to just tell everyone to make sure that they knows what you guys did.
Oh, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was my first introduction to meeting many individuals that are on this call today, and also getting a chance to, understand what the SRBS of USA does, what the local chapters do, and whatnot as well. So thank you, Shalishbai, for sharing that. I appreciated my time in supporting that initiative. So during this time, I want to share a few things. I know some of our board members couldn't be on the call today. I want to make sure I take time to recognize them, but make sure you follow any updates that are shared by your local chapter to know what's going on and how we can support and whatnot. But first of all, and once again, I want to say Ram Kabir to everybody and thank you for allowing us to be on the call today. Thank you to the organizers of Kabir Wisdom for creating and sustaining this virtual space week after week. I met Raju Uncle in actual July 2021 because I was curious about learning about how our Samaj started and if I wanted to give time to this space. Through my approach, it's always been understanding the roots of how things started because it allows us to be aware and mindful in terms of how things work and how things move. And when I sat with him, we didn't have a 10-minute conversation. I messaged him because someone gave me his number. And I reached out to him because I was interested in learning about how this community works. I've been doing community service work, as Raju Uncle shared, for the past 10 plus years. My work is local in Houston, but now for the past 4 years, I've been doing work in youth development across the nation in 7 different states, supporting youth development efforts. And then in Houston, I support state level work that gives awareness to our Texas legislator for increased funding for out of school time youth development programming dollars. And so that's what I do professionally today. In doing that, I reached out to Raju Uncle because I was interested to learn about not only how the teachings of Sadhguru Kabir have just supported and navigated our chapters, the people, but how we came here. I wanted to learn about why the chapters did what they did. And before I made a commitment to being a committee member, I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. And I appreciate your time and your extensive support, Raju Uncle, for really allowing what you share to be true, authentic, and of you, but more than that of Sadhguru Kabir. And so thank you for creating this space along with every other individual that has supported the logistics and the back end of doing this. What you do, gathering members from across the country, across time zones, and across generations, and doing voluntarily out of love for this community and this way of life, I believe and I know from a modeling standpoint is Seva at the truest form. And it doesn't go unnoticed. Even every other individual that has supported this space, we were just on a call earlier too with Jitubai as well, just like, thank you for your time in supporting this space. I also want to be clear about something before I go any further. I stand before you today not as someone who has all the answers. I'm glad to serve. I've been on the board for now 3 months, and I'm still learning about the depths of this Samaj, learning about the chapters, and more so interested in learning and curious about Kabir's teachings and learning what it means to serve in the role with integrity. I say that not to lower your expectations, but because I believe honesty is the foundation of any real relationship. And I want my relationship with the membership to be a real one. I also want to acknowledge the Houston Bhakta Samaj. I started my committee work with them in 2017 when I was encouraged to be on the committee. So I've been on the committee extensively for many years, and I want to acknowledge that chapter because I've learned from the leadership and the committee of what it really means to do authentic work. I think people can make mistakes. I think people can grow, but I think there's also people that are great leaders, and I would be not doing a good service if I didn't recognize where I learned a lot of this work in community organizing, specifically within the Bhakta Samaj. So shout out to Houston and the Houston chapter. I also want to think about the history of the Samaj in America. I'm moved by something that I don't think we say out loud enough. And Raju Uncle said this earlier, but people came to this country as many, many decades ago. And you came to this place where no one looked like you, spoke like you, or understood where you came from. You came without internet, without video calls, without the ability to simply pull up a teaching on your phone when you needed someone to understand you. And so I always think about that because I think about my mom and dad's story and how they came to this country, but also how they did what they did to support us. I know that every adult, first generation, that came here deeply cares about the youth. And I always see that and I always hear that. And so I commend those that were pillars. This is the first time the board is addressing Kabir Wisdom. So I want to make sure I recognize the leaders that are in the community. I think they have put the time so that you have a space to do community. You have a place to practice culture. And when I see elders, and I tell this to my mom, growing up, every elder that has shaped and supported my dad and mom, when I walk into a room, the first thing I do today is I say Ram Kabir to each of those elders. And if I miss one of them and I see them on my side, I always respectfully go say Ram Kabir because it's my way of saying and giving back, like it's shared in Sankofa, which is reaching back, that you reach back and you always acknowledge those that have helped you or your family move forward, whether it was a good lesson or maybe they indirectly harmed without knowing, you still acknowledge that it was a blessing. The people that were leaders, you allowed this community to keep the teaching of Sadhguru Kabir going. And you also allowed that this community has done over the decades be patient, consistent, and devoted to the work, the community work. Results were not always shared immediately, but I commend those that organize events when turnout was small because I know about them. And I've reached out to a few current presidents that have small memberships and saying, hey, what do you need support with? But that takes a leadership role and it's completely voluntary. And here's what I find most remarkable is that many are still doing it in efforts to preserve what we know to be true, even the generation after you. For those that maybe are young or your kids that are not on this call, I know you've given your time to the community and maybe you want your kids or your nieces or nephews to lead, but you have to allow them to do it at their own pace. And the fact that this call exists to ignite our new generation, the members from across this country are gathering on this Sunday, which you're doing, to receive Kabir Wisdom together. And it's not a small thing. This is a fruit of the generation, which is your generation, the elders, of being patient, devoted, and understanding what it truly means to have and do voluntary work. I want you to hear me when I say what you have built here is rare. Yeah, in a country that moves fast and forgets quickly, you have held memory, which is what Raju Uncle did when he started. You have held culture and you have held each other that deserves to be named and celebrated. So I want to acknowledge the generations that came before us, the elders, the founders of local chapters. Share the story, but make sure you share it with authenticity. And I'll share that in a bit. Sometimes we forget that the people that are young, it's not that they don't want to engage, they don't know why they should engage. So take time at your Diwali program, at any other events, share so that people understand how did you start. Each local chapter, and I do this because I like communicating, but you have to be able to share and go back sometimes and share how we started. But make sure it's authentic and it's not about one person because there are many people involved in the process. And if we forget, we always apologize. We make sure that we also acknowledge those that put in the time that are no longer with us today, right? They put in the time. So sometimes finding ways to acknowledge them. And we don't always have to say thank you loudly enough to the people who built the room before we walked into it, which is sometimes what some people think we have to do. So I say it now, and on behalf of the board, thank you. I also want to share a few things before I depart and I kind of share my notes. I want to speak briefly and honestly about the national board and what our role actually is, what I believe it should be. I have heard while I got into this role since stepping in that members have high expectations of the board. They hope that this board will bring new change. It's going to be an amazing time. And I understand that, but I don't take that lightly. I also want to be honest with you because I think you deserve honesty more than you deserve a speech that sounds good but means little. The national board does not run your local chapters. The chapters run themselves, and we see that today. We see the chapters run themselves. A lot of chapters are figuring it out with the next generation, the past generation, and the current generation. And they do so because the committee members and volunteers at the local level who give of their time and their hearts. The board's role is to support those chapters. Number two, to provide governance. And number three, to provide oversight. That means the board's role is to help create conditions where every chapter across this country can do better. That's what changes. And conditions is what we have to figure out. What are the conditions of our local chapters so that we can engage, increase memberships, but more so pass on the culture to the next generation? This is different from the board being a source of authority or a place where one person's personality or title determines the direction of the entire Samaj. So I say this not to criticize the past, but to be clear about the present. And I will go one step further and say something that I think is important. The board is still finding its footing. We are a new board with many new members, but we're also getting to know one another. The essence of what we do, who we are, and what we've learned from Kabirji is we are built on relationship, and relationships matter. But what matters more than relationships is healthy relationships. And we should be okay with people practicing that and doing that. I also want each other to know that as we figure this out and we help chapters become better and bigger and just sustain, we're still learning the history of decisions that were made before we arrived. So it's okay to be honest. And what I can commit to, because you're maybe asking, what do you commit to, Deep? And I commit to making sure that I work in a collaborative manner with all the board trustees. I get to learn about them. And myself and our board secretary, Purviben, have been doing a great job in ensuring we do that. I've got a chance to, I met Purviben years ago, and we've had a great time. And when I found out, her role and what she wants to learn, I said, yeah, I can support you. I want to help you, but I appreciate your time and ensuring that we can also continue what we do. We want to serve with humility. We will listen before we speak, and we will support before we direct. That makes sure we listen first. And we will remember that the Samaj does not belong to the board. And I'll say that one more time. The Samaj does not belong to the board. It belongs to every single member who has ever paid a membership due, sat on a local committee, or organized a gathering, or simply is showing up. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. But we have to be mindful that every committee member in your local chapter is doing this voluntarily. So the best we can do is help them understand how community organizing works, what the weaknesses are, and how to strengthen what they're really good at. So lastly, from what I know, Sadhguru Kabir taught us that true service is not about the one who gives, it is the act of giving itself. That ego has no place in Seva. That the moment we begin serving for recognition or authority, we have lost the spirit of it entirely. So sometimes you have to pause and you have to ask yourself, when you get tired doing this work and you're volunteering and you're putting in hours and you're doing extra things, I know because you matter and you want your name to be highlighted because your name is connected to your parents and your grandparents, and you have a due diligence and responsibility to ensure that their teachings run through you and gratify you and give you gratitude. But in doing that, we have to be mindful that we have to understand, listen, and how do we pick up the next generation that wants to support each chapter? Because sometimes ego gets involved and ego gets in the way. And it's okay, but learn to apologize. I am still learning what it means to live in that teaching. So I'm not perfect, but I'm grateful to be learning it here in this community alongside with you. And I want to also give a special shout out to my family and those that have instilled those teachings in me personally, where I get to instill it in the next generation of youth or young adults, but also making sure that I recognize not just my family, my mom, my in-laws, but also my wife, Sydney, in supporting me, in supporting our board and giving voluntarily, because those that give voluntarily have sometimes an extra thing on their plate where they have to balance. So you have to give us grace. If you're a member that doesn't volunteer, that doesn't give in any chapter, remember you can show up to a community meeting, listen, you can show up and give your input, but always be mindful that they're also doing their seva, which is those people that are leading in any leadership capacity. They are balancing, and we have to do this thing called giving them grace. Give them grace. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your seva. And thank you for keeping the tradition alive, not just for yourselves, but for every generation that will come after us. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it back to you, to our board, actually, to share any testaments. So Ram Kabir, I want to ask our VP, Jay, if he wants to come up, or Purvi Ben to come up if they want to share any words before we depart.
Go ahead, Purivian. Ladies first.
All right. Ram Kabir again, Savne. I'm going to keep it a little bit mild in English and Gujarati. So, Dipen Bhai had said so much, and I believe in his vision. I believe in his youth mind. You know, one of my reason, મારો કારણી હતું આ સેવામાં કે હું પણ મારા વડીલો, મારા સ્વજનો અને જે હું જોઈને મોટી થઈ કે સેવા શું છે. So I do believe what, Dipen Bhai had said, ke seva, one of the thing that gives me a very, very positives about my samaj is seva. And I learned that from my dad himself. He served in Wichita board for a couple years, and I learned in his footstep a lot. He's a quiet guy. He wouldn't be outspoken much, but he's idea. And also, he also serviced in Gujarati Samaj of Kansas City for lifetime. Even people call him today for his advice. So I listen to him. So my vision comes from my dad. So મને પણ સમાજનું સાથે જોડાવાનું અને બધું જ ગમે. I was in Houston for 11 to 12 years, 12 almost years. અને ત્યારે actively I was in a medical field, so I did not have much time to give to community, but any volunteer time that I had, I dedicate that to my Houston Samaj. And they know, local knows me. And then જ્યારે હું Hayes જેવા નાના ટાઉનમાં મૂવ થઈ, ત્યારે મારી વરી હતી કે મારો દીકરો, મારો છોકરો એ કલ્ચર ક્યાંથી શીખશે. આપણી પાસે ગ્રેટ સમાજ છે, પણ કનેક્ટ કેવી રીતના થવાનું. તો ત્યારે I came to know about Wichita chapter. And that's how I joined my journey for the સમાજ. અને મારી બસ એ જ ઈચ્છા હતી કે હું જોડાયેલી રહું, મારા છોકરા પણ જોડાયેલો રહે, મારું ફ્યુચર જોડાયેલું રહે. સમાજ is something is very, very important for us in a like growing wise. કે આપણે growth જોવો હોય આપણો સમાજનો, આપણો connection, bond, where we come from. So Raju uncle said it much. Also Dipen Bhai said it much. So I'm going to keep it short on that. But Maro role as a secretary of SRBS, we do have a vision, and which Dipen Bhai said a lot, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But Maru e કાર્યનું જે કંઈ પ્રોજેક્ટ હોય કે જે કોઈ વિઝન હોય અમારા જે થોટ્સના ઇમ્પ્રુવમેન્ટ અને ગ્રો કરવાના આપણા સમાજના ફોર બેટરમેન્ટ, I will provide that information to local chapter as well. અને મારી એક રિક્વેસ્ટ, હમ્બલ રિક્વેસ્ટ છે બધા જ આપણા લોકલ મેમ્બરને કે જે જે જોડાયેલા છે તે બધા જ તમારા લોકલ ચેપ્ટરમાં એક્ટિવલી વોલન્ટિયરલી ટાઈમ આપો અને સમાજને એક રાખો. આપણે whether it's a festival, whether we are enjoying the youth activities, or whether we are enjoying the bhajan. We do a lot of bhajan together, time to time on our Janmashtami, our Kabir Jayanti. So any gathering, let's, continue support our local to built these 12 chapters together in a one platform. So thank you. અને જયેન્દ્રભાઈ તમારે હવે
Ah,
Jayendra
thank you,
explain.
thank you, Purviben. Thank you, Deepan Bhai, for setting the stage and the direction that we want to go in. And I think, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, for some of us folks that have been on the board for a while, we really welcome the new energy, the new direction, and that's something that we can always certainly build on. As I mentioned earlier, we're building on the foundation laid by people before us, so that the next generation can build on top of what we leave behind for them. And that's kind of the real essence of what we are. And Kabir Wisdom is a great way of putting us in touch with that direction that provides us a compass, a moral compass, a religious and spiritual compass, which is Kabir Wisdom. And then Bhakta community, Bhakta Samaj, which gives our traditions and gives us a sense of identity, a sense of community, and also why we've been successful in many different countries as a community. If we start losing that, then that's something that our children will not benefit from going forward, to have that Bhakta community and those connections. And so I'll keep it short. A lot of things have been said, but in the spirit of Kabir Wisdom, I just wanted to leave one small anecdote that I just found out about a few days ago. Atyare, there's a movie, Dhurandhar. And a lot of folks have been watching that. તેમાં એક બે લાઈન છે કવાલીની કે ના તો કારવાં की तलाश है ना तो हम सफर की तलाश है. That whole kawali is actually from an older movie, Barsat. And if you ever get a chance, please watch it if you haven't seen it. But it's based on Kabir philosophy. And there are several dohas that are not directly used, but the inspiration of that kawali is actually very deep and has a very deep meaning. But it's amazing how we tie our previous history, but Kabir wisdom comes in manifested way in many, many different forms that sometimes we're not even aware of. But I just wanted to leave that, since we're at Kabir wisdom, and it was an interesting anecdote that I ran across. So with that, I won't take more of your time. Back to Deepan Bhai and Raju Bhai. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Javelin Bhai and Purviben. Does anybody else? We have a few minutes. We have like 1 or 2 minutes, but anybody else on the trustee board, trustees of the board, want to share anything before I give it back to Raju Uncle? All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to hand it back off to Raju Uncle if there's any other sentiments you want to share. Thank you so much for having us once again on behalf of the SRBS of USA board. Thank you.
Ramkavir Dipen, Jayendra Bhai, Nepurvi, and Shailesh Bhai, and rest of the other board members. Thank you very much. You guys gave us like so much of, like your views. First of all, let me tell you, you have service in your heart. I can see that, Dipen, and Purvi, and of course Jayendra Bhai. I know him for years and years. So this is what it says. And then joy of service, as you said, and Purvi said the joy of service. It's not a burden, and there are so many things happens while we volunteer. Number one, as Purvi said, also we grow as a human being, because now you have to face people who may not agree with you or may have a different opinions, but you still, your humbleness is tested, your patience is tested, your Kabir Sahib Saki said ki uh, in one Saki said Kabira khada bazaar mein मांगे सबकी खैर न काहू से दोस्ती न काहू से bear. Basically what he says, no, I'm not a friend for someone, and no enemies and no friends, but I'm together with all. And that is what the growth. So my heart goes out to all of you, that hey, you guys are like, all of you have taken this responsibility to take this lead. See, the platform was built with hard work. Now use this platform as a springboard, and what I call it, best of the both world, the values, the peace, joy, love, which comes from Bharat and Sadhguru Kabir, and the comfort and luxury which we enjoy from the Western world. And both the Western and Eastern world the younger generation can benefit. So that is definitely depend. Very, very wonderful. You all shared. I don't want to repeat all this stuff, but a couple of things I'll tell even the general people also. Remember that what John F. Kennedy said, that we don't want to ask what Samaj can do for us. We as an individual should always look within and say, what can I do for the Samaj? And that is for every function. Wherever we go, what can I do? How may I serve? Because we are instrument of that Almighty here to serve other human being. So that another thing for depend. This is for I watched a movie Jungle Book, and of course, I have grandkids, so when grandkids come, we need to watch Disney movie. So in Jungle Book, one of the sentence which I remember and which I think very, very important for all of us, where the Mowgli, the character was kind of anxious and lost and didn't know how to navigate his life. The um, the wolf says that the law of the jungle is for the strength of the pack is the wolf, and strength of the wolf is the pack. And that's what it is. The every member's strength will be the Samaj, and Samaj is it's not a human being, it's not an entity, it's made out of all of us, every individual. So strength of the member will make the Samaj stronger. And Samaj, as Dipen said, we all collectively lead together, and let's, you know, um, as Jendra said, we don't want to kind of get withered away as that, or get diluted, or get dispersed as Samaj. We could use this platform, technology, to make Samaj very, very strong, so that we all members can thrive as a human being. And on this, like navigating life is not an easy job, as you see in all of us. So, but collectively, we can navigate. So, to me, to young leaders, we believe in you, we support you, and we want to walk together with you. And I want all, whoever is listening, all the members of Bhakta community to come together to support them, encourage them, and continue to grow as one Samaj in USA. And another thing is just to depend that in Southern California we have somebody has donated his MediaZilla website or what just like a Netflix, where we have preserved all our past cultural program, whether they were in auditorium or at the cultural center, and people can access that anytime. And then that is how we can bring through technology. This free. We have unlimited what you call storage to bring all the programs on that platform. And you can, just like Netflix, we can stream it anytime. Anybody can stream it anytime, and that probably will be a good strength to keep all of our activities and events together. So, and that I think will be a one of the things, and that's how, you guys can come up with the different ideas, and we are here to support. That's what I'm saying. You know, any final words, Dipen?
No, thank you so much, Raj Uncle. We appreciate the time, and thank you for the insight, and we look forward to continuing our work and service to the Samaj.
Oh, well, that's awesome, and we can, every chapter, as you said, they're independent, but we can, with the support, we can thrive each chapter and make it more vibrant. And and I think that's the thing, that what works in one chapter may work, we can learn and then say, okay, hey, how can we, uh, you know, cut down our learning curve and learn from that chapter and make, and make stronger and vibrant. And whether it's a youth program, a ladies program, or just upliftment of the members, whichever way, make the Samaj more vibrant and stronger. I know Praveen Bhai have raised a hand, but Praveen Bhai, you will have to be very, very brief.
Okay.
Yes.
Basically, Ram Kabir, we are very glad that you are there. My only thing was that, as I said, we want to have the Samaj so nice and good, but thing is that we have to catch the people at the earlier stage in the life. And that's why we have the Bal Vikas Kendra that we run also every Saturday on our platform. And then I just wanted to bring that up because that was the one main reason I raised the hand, because that is one of the most important thing for our kids to start learning at the lowest level. Because basically we put all the values, Kabir's values, Krishna's values, Ram's values, everything in that, and try to develop the kids at the earlier stage, very young age, like 4 years to 12 years, 13 years. And before, when we started, it was really vibrant because it was COVID time, but now it has gone down a bit. But because nobody is taking the leadership in at the board level, because we try to do best as our teachers, but we cannot market it to the whole community that, well, this is what the good thing that's going on. Once we are gone, that kind of message won't be around. So whichever kids get benefit, that was our basic idea for that Bal Vikas Kendra. So thank you very much, and Ram Kabir.
Thank you. Praveen Bhai, your valuable input is well taken, and I'm sure the board will continue and then collectively come up with the ideas there. But whether it's a chapter level, they can have their own Bal Vikas, or because of the timing difference or whatever. But yes, the earlier we catch youngsters, we can value, and they collectively they learn together. A lot of times the parents may not have the skill to teach, but collectively we can, they all can love. So thank you very much. Okay, Dipen, any final words? Otherwise, we conclude with the prayers, what we do, and always, you know, uh,
Raju Bhai,
yes.
thanks for everything. You have
Oh,
done awesome work, showing up every week, and lead this culture program. Thank you.
well, thank you, Shailesh Bhai. Yes, we started in July, no, actually June 2020, when we said that yes, we needed during COVID time to keep our community together because we were navigating some unknown territory, unknown time, very kind of a scary time, and how let's say 10,000 of us, I don't know what the true number is, but let's say 10,000 of all Bhakta members can be connected together during the pandemic, unknown
So
time. And, so
can I give you a like estimate? About
yes.
3,300 families in USA right now.
How many? 3,300?
3,300
Yes.
families in USA, Bhakta families.
Wow. Yes, thank you for your statistic, because that shows that we could be, easily 10,000 people are members or Bhakta. So hey, that's great. And let's build whatever the platform is built, let's take it to the next level, what I call it. And we are here to support you, encourage you, and give ideas where you reach out to us. We you collectively we all get together, because sometimes, as you say, board doesn't have answer, you don't have the answer, doesn't mean that collectively we cannot come up with the answer in and integrity and what you call the collaboration. There are two words I picked up from your saying, and those are the two most important words. Thank you. Okay, I'll end this unless Dipen, you have anything to say?
No, thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate the time and the opportunity to be on the call today, along with all of our board of trustees for the SRBS of USA.
Thank you, Ram Kabir, and you're most welcome to come and join us whenever you want to spread anything, even for a few minutes. because, you know, rain or shine, we are here every Sunday at 10:30 PST, 12:30, you know, CST. And you are most welcome. Any of the board members more than most welcome to come and address few things, whatever in their heart. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
મિત્રો નેક્સ્ટ સન્ડે મળીશું. આજે સમય થોડો વધી ગયો છે, પણ પ્રાર્થના શાંતિ પાઠ કરીએ અને સન્ડે મળીશું. એન્ડ વી કન્ટિન્યુ અવર જર્ની ઓન પ્લાનેટ અર્થ. હરિ ઓમ. પૂર્ણ એ છે, પૂર્ણ આ છે, પૂર્ણથી તો પૂર્ણ ઉગ્યું છે બધું. પૂર્ણમાંથી પૂર્ણ આપી દો ભલે, શેષ પાછળ પૂર્ણ રહેવાનું સદા. ઓમ શાંતિ શાંતિ શાંતિ. રામ કબીર.
Ram Kabir.
Hi, Ram Kabir, everyone. And thank you, Dipen,
Thank you so
leading
much.
us.